So many of you believe that you are not psychic, that you cannot pick up on intuitive hits, that your intuition isn't strong. I think this episode will kindly, gently prove you wrong. So stay open, be open-minded, and let's have a chat about this. And I just want to say, first, as a disclaimer, I have my handy elderberry tea with honey next to me because I have just been struggling with this cough. I had a cold about a week or two ago, and the cough is still staying with me. The last episode, I had to edit, and I don't ever edit my episodes because I just don't I don't usually have the time or the energy to do that. If I had an assistant, that would be nice, but I just choose not to. I choose not to dedicate time to that. I have other things I'd rather be doing. Maybe that will change one day. But that last episode, I was hacking a cough like, and I had to edit 4 or 5 coughs out of that podcast episode because I couldn't do that to you. I could not do that to you. And so if I sip some tea intermittently, please excuse me. It will save me from editing heavily and from coughing in your ear. Let's get to today's topic. 3 signs that your psychic abilities are calling out to you, that your intuition is trying to reach you. I want to help answer the question, how do you know that you're picking up on signs or intuitive hits? And for those who are beginning on their journey in psychic development or just curious about it, maybe you're not sure where to start with tapping into your intuition, or what to even pick up on, what to notice, acknowledge from the other side or from the universe, from God. I first want to say, and here we go, sipping my tea, which is quite appropriate for what I'm about to say. I said this in the last episode about being a medium. You are a medium, period. Everyone is a medium. To different levels, but everyone's a medium. I'm also going to say you are psychic. Everybody is psychic. I have a feeling that after I go through these 3 signs, these 3 indicators, that you will agree that most people experience these things. Most, if not all. So number 1, the first indication that your intuition is trying to reach out to you, that your psychic abilities are calling out to you, is the element of surprise. Simple. A coincidence happens. You see a sign. Something you notice in your environment that makes you feel different or makes you go, oh, whoa, that's a coincidence. Or, whoa, what are the odds of that? Or you just get an intuitive hit, a gut feeling, which I'll go into later in this podcast episode. That element of surprise, it's a wonderful feeling, and it catches us off guard. So, for instance, let's say that you associate pink elephants with a tablecloth that your grandmother had with pink elephants on it. It's not common to see pink elephants, right? And you're out somewhere and you see a pink elephant and it makes you look twice. That, my friend, is your intuition picking up on something, your soul picking up on information. Now, that delves into some mediumship, but not everyone's going to agree with this. I believe that all mediums are psychics. Not all psychics are mediums. It's psychic energy of a different kind when you get a sign from a loved one. It's not quite mediumship either because, or is it? I got to give this more thought. That is an indication that there is a part of your energy body, to me it's the psychic energy, that is trying to direct your attention to something so it can pick up on that thing. As a spiritual coach, I work with clients on recognizing these moments of coincidence, of surprise, and taking note of them and trusting that you're not crazy, that this is real, that there's no such thing really as a coincidence. Number 2, the second indicator that your psychic abilities are shouting out at you to say, pay attention to me. Repetition. You hear the same name over and over again in different scenarios. You hear about the same place. The same object keeps coming up. Similar to the pink elephants, but it could be anything else. Doesn't have to be an animal. Different people keep mentioning the same thing in different environments. Now, this is an external thing happening, but your psychic energy, your intuition is the one responding to that thing. Your brain goes, that's interesting. I keep hearing the name David everywhere I go. What's up with that? And that's where you can decide, okay, am I going to tap into my intuition? It's very subconscious sometimes. And just the action of acknowledging, okay, I keep hearing the name David. I'm taking note of that. That's you tapping into your intuition. Because not tapping into your intuition would be saying, well, that's weird. Doesn't mean anything. Go about your day. A personal example I have, Easton Mountain. I did a whole episode dedicated to Easton Mountain. And I shared before that I kept hearing the words Easton Mountain mentioned to me by at least 3 or 4 different people who did not know each other in early 2025. I thought, well, gee, I got to look into this. And I went in August 2025, and it was a life-changing experience. It was amazing. And I would love to go back. It really was an important chapter of 2025 for me. Life-changing. Life-changing. I met people that changed my life, that changed my perspective on love, on friendship, on community. And if I had just thought, people keep mentioning Easton Mountain. That's weird, or that's a coincidence. Okay. And not actually taking the next step of, let me do some research, or let me ask more about it. And thinking to myself, maybe there's something here for me to learn about this place. I would have totally ignored my intuition. My intuition is what led me to be curious. And your intuition can drive your curiosity about that thing that keeps getting mentioned all the time. And not that there has to be a solution to the question you have about that something, or an action that has to be taken, just taking note of it. Holding that curiosity, taking note of that thing is a wonderful step in tapping into your intuition. Third indication that your intuition is trying to reach out to you. And it's a tale told as old as time, that deep gut knowing, that deep knowing or feeling, that joy, that discomfort, the disgust maybe, the eagerness to do something. That's your intuition, my love. Sometimes we have to distinguish fear from intuition. This gets tricky now. And it's also a tale as old as time. A lot of psychics talk about this. If the feeling you're getting, the knowing you're getting, what we feel like is a knowing or a feeling, deep feeling, comes from a place of fear, then it's not your intuition. I'll give you an example. I have sabotaged quite a few romantic relationships in my life so far, and hopefully not anymore, because I'm in a really great one right now. I sabotaged those relationships because I was afraid of something, but I thought that I was being smart. I thought that the fear coming up was actually protecting me. But what I ended up doing was driving the other person away or being hypercritical of them or being judgmental towards them, accusatory sometimes. I was not the best boyfriend, y'all, in past relationships because I was coming at relationship from a place of insecurity. So all I knew was to be afraid, afraid of not being good enough, afraid of not being wanted, not being loved, afraid of the person not staying. So I would get a sort of hit of, I wonder what they're doing right now. I bet they're doing something right now. I was just doing the guesswork, right? Not helpful to me or to the relationship. But I felt so sure about it. But what was driving all of that, because I've done the work on myself and continue to do work on myself, I continue to go to therapy, I continue to try and practice mindfulness and awareness, self-awareness. What I learned is that I was operating from fear, and my fear was lying to me. There's that acronym for fear, F everything and run. Sometimes fear does not serve us. And fear, when it's especially tied and in close proximity to the ego, and our fear is sometimes trying to protect us from things that aren't actually a threat. So in those romantic relationships, I felt strongly that the other person might be cheating, that the person might be talking to other people, or they might not be happy with me. I felt so strongly about it. And I would do things, say things in reference to that fear I had, and it would not serve the relationship. It's what led to some breakups. So when you are tapping into your intuition, that deep gut, that deep knowing, this is why I've mentioned many times before, learning how to love yourself and appreciate and honor yourself is such a big part of the mediumistic and psychic journey. Because if we can't trust ourselves, if we don't love and honor ourselves, then let me rephrase that. If we're not loving and honoring ourselves, then we are not trusting ourselves either. And we're living in a fear-based mindset, trying to protect ourselves from any further harm that can be done to us. We're living in a defense mode. And we're expecting people to be harmful towards us because we feel like we're not good enough. We feel like we don't deserve love. We don't deserve the best treatment. We don't deserve gifts. We don't deserve politeness. So we expect the opposite of all that. And so we get into this defense mode, right? And if we're in this defense mode all the time, or most of the time, then how are we going to trust? How are we going to trust what's coming through to us intuitively? So the more you trust yourself and honor yourself, the easier it is to trust your intuitive hits. There are great psychics who maybe haven't done that personal work. That's okay. But I would bet it's way easier when you've done the personal work. And you're an even better psychic when you do. I'm living proof of that. My psychic abilities got better, deeper, after I learned how to love myself. But it's a journey and you have to be patient with yourself. I'm not saying it's easy. So when it comes to that deep knowing or deep feeling, after you've done some development of your psychic abilities, which you can do on your own, you can do with a class or a teacher, a group, after you've done that development, you will learn to distinguish what is coming from a fear-based mindset and what is coming from your soul. And it's really about exercising that muscle. And so when you get a feeling of disgust, a deep inner feeling of disgust, let's say you're on a date, or let's say you are meeting someone for the first time, date or not date, and you just get this feeling, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you, go out the door, don't talk to this person. Give that a chance because, listen, we can be wrong. And actually, by giving it a chance, as long as you're not in any physical danger, of course, by giving it a chance, that interaction a chance, you will find out if your intuition was right or wrong. So when you get that ick feeling, you Oh, this is a good one. Oh, this is a really good test. If you get that ick feeling when you meet somebody, talk to them, get a vibe, get their vibe. What's their vibe about? What are they like? And if you end up being right and they say something or do something that really upsets you or that really rubs you the wrong way, your intuition was right. If they end up being an amazing, pleasant person, that's something else to examine. Because maybe that ick feeling was coming from a fear-based mindset. Maybe I was judging that person based on a past interaction I've had with somebody who looked like this person or who looked or sounded like this person. And I'm making a judgment and it's coming from a fear-based mindset. Equally as valuable. Valuable information to know about yourself. So these are the 3 indicators that your psychic abilities are trying to reach out to you. Number 1, the element of surprise, coincidence, the signs that come up. Number 2, repetition, things you keep hearing or seeing or experiencing over and over and over again. You don't know why. And number 3, the deep knowing or the deep gut feeling that's coming from a place of just deep awareness and knowing, and not from a place of defense or protection that comes from fear, a fear-based mindset. And I wonder if you agree with me now that a lot of people experience all 3 of these things. The element of surprise and coincidence when it comes to signs or bizarre experiences. The repetition of things. You're like, why does this keep coming up in my life, right? Or that deep knowing or feeling. Mostly all of us experience these things. So if you do too, and you've never considered yourself psychic, well, surprise, surprise, but not really a surprise. You are psychic. And this is just about continuing to trust when you have these moments that they are real, that they're trying to tell you something, or maybe it's just a sign that you're going in the right direction. So many times have I gotten a sign that didn't mean anything else other than you're going in the right path. Today, I was in the gym on the elliptical and I was about to spiral about something. And the video I was watching, it was like a video on the playwright Tennessee Williams, like an old documentary uploaded to YouTube. The video paused on its own and then went back 10 seconds. Now, I'm like, that's weird. So I looked at the video and I went back 10, 20 seconds to see if it was the video or my service or whatever. And it turns out that the uploaded video had a glitch in it. So the person who uploaded it didn't notice there was a glitch in the video they uploaded, and it did exactly what I just said. So it wasn't my internet. It was just the way the video was put together, or not well put together. But that got me out of my spiral mode for just a second. And I thought, I think God's trying to distract me from my spiral. I took that as a sign that I'm okay. Things are going to be okay. Now, afterwards, did I start questioning and start thinking about things after that moment and semi-spiraled? Maybe like on a scale of 1 to 5 spiral, 5 being major spiral, I was like a 1.5, which isn't terrible. It's not bad at all, but I'm human. I still got off the elliptical and started asking myself some questions and thinking about the thing again. But I know I believe that was a sign. That was a little hello from heaven. Because what are the odds that I'm about to spiral and I happen to be watching this minute and second of this video? I had actually started this 40-minute video months ago and I went to like 5 minutes in and I stopped watching it. What if I had started watching the video today? I probably wouldn't have gotten to that moment in the video that would have distracted me. But because I was 5 minutes in already into this documentary video, today I happen to be spiraling at the moment when this happens in the video. Do you know what I'm saying? So I take that as a little hello and a sign that, Juan, snap out of it. Like Cher in Moonstruck. Snap out of it. Stop spiraling. Trust when you have these moments. Trust yourself that you're not crazy. Trust the universe. Trust your higher power. That this energy, this universal energy is trying to tell you something, or just telling you, hey, you're going the right way. We affirm this. We love you. You're awesome. Keep going. A little preview for the podcast for June. As you all know, I have started working as a life coach, an empowerment life coach in particular, focusing on spiritual coaching and people's spiritual journeys and discoveries, self-discovery, as well as body image. And with Pride Month being in June, I am going to focus on gay themes and queer themes. And it's going to mostly focus on body image, with the exception of one episode, which is going to be called, thanks to my friend Kat, who's been on the podcast, by the way, Is there a gay soul? Is there a queer soul? Is the soul gay? Is Juan's soul, my soul, once I pass, is it going to be a gay soul? Let's talk about it. So, if you know someone who you think would be really interested in hearing podcast episodes where spirituality and sexuality or sexual orientation, where they intersect, and we talk about the soul, we talk about body image, especially body image in these episodes, send this podcast to them. And I want to say thank you for joining me on this journey as I'm discovering what's going to feel right for me as I cover these topics on the podcast and the direction I want to go in with the podcast. And I'm really excited to actually talk about these topics in Pride, because they do mean a lot to me. And it's very personal to me, deeply personal to me. So I will see you next week. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. This podcast is really about helping you trust your own intuition and step into your power. If you'd like to work with me directly, you can learn more at juanfrancisco.co. That's juanfrancisco.co. And please remember to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend.